But now, chat, we got to get into the review. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I got to do a scene by scene by scene breakdown of the first Twilight, along with the 4th episode of Spider-Man, the animated series, the introduction of Dr. Octopus, and of course, more Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I got a question for you guys right now. How many? Jake Luther, good to see you. I like it. Papa Chris, Papa Herman. Good to see you, Jake. How many have you read and or seen the Twilight films or books or whatever? I'm curious. I've never read any of the books. I've seen this movie now twice. I can't really say, maybe like 1.5 times. I saw it like years ago, like half of it. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. No. I saw it with Master Pancake Theater, which is kind of like the Austin version, the local Austin version of Mystery Science Theater 3000. So I kind of saw it that way, like in a mocking style. So that counts. That's a full version. So I'll go ahead and say I've seen it twice. And then once without all the funny commentary. Jake Luthor, thank you for the host. Let's see what you guys are saying right now. A lot of people are saying Dark Slayer, Sally, I saw, Chris Ayers, I have, Martin Puns, me, franchise your mother would love. I don't think my mom would like this. But you're not wrong, though. A lot of 40-year-old housewives would love this shit. If I inspired the author of, 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey was a Twilight spinoff, and then she just changed all the names of the fucking characters, and she made tens upon tens of millions of dollars, chat, in those goddamn books. Fucking fan fiction. So you can do anything, chat. Just make it erotic, and housewives will flock to it. They'll love it. So a lot of people I've seen clips of the Twilight movies, that's fair. Xavier, never seen or read. Skimmed, I've seen, read in all the series. It was a phase. That's okay, we all go through our phases, and I understand. Allie! Okay, so I didn't see the poll and refresh, then at instant I clicked vote. My internet went out. No! What is the conspiracy? What movie won? It was Blade. It was Blade, Alex. That should be left. I'm sorry that you had some issues there. Hopefully for the next one. Go, Chops. I've seen it, tried to read it, but hated the books even more. So I imagine so. That's I'll tell you right now, chat. Like I said, I've never read the books, never wanted to. Even though I was surrounded by people who were reading them. I was just, I think by that point, like, I started to be aware of the books when the first movie was about to come out. When it was like, what is this? Like, the trailers were coming out. I was like, yeah, this doesn't look for me. It's like, it was at that time where you had films that were trying desperately to be the next Harry Potter. Like, you had stuff like The Golden Compass, you had stuff like the Percy Jackson films, and Twilight was one of those other ones. I'll give the franchise this. I'll give the movies this, chat. One compliment. They made fucking money. There's no question about that. All right? I mean, the material, at least from what I have seen of it in a cinematic form, is utter trash. And even kind of like promoting a dangerous message about relationships, like, that's my biggest problem with this film, Jay. I'll tell you this right now. It's not even bad dialogue. It's poorly edited. The special effects are garbage. There's no question about that. But it's the promotion of this really unhealthy romantic relationship, where they're trying to attempt to sell a romantic relationship between these two characters, and it's just like, this is not a good thing to showcase to impressionable young readers or viewers, especially people who are obsessed with the series. Like, this is not a good romance to aspire to. You know what I'm saying? It feels similar. Thank you, Protector King, for the 1,000 biddy donations. Thank you. Oh my God! Speaking of fan fiction, instead of getting a suit, why not body paint? Been waiting the exotic fanfic reading. Like I said, we will do that. Corey's adamant about us going out, because I talked to him multiple times about this, chat, about us going out and physically buying a costume and filming it. I've said that I think it would be, because we both want to, we're obligated to do that for you, and we absolutely would, chat, but we want to go out and actually get it, but because Corona complicated everything. But that is happening in the future, chat. I'm going to wear a skin tight, so you can see all the goods, chat. You can see all the goods. A skin tight Sonic furry suit for you, and I'm going to be reading the last 2 chapters of Sonic High School, and probably chapters of more erotic Sonic fan fiction that I've also found, chat, and have perused, and you're going to love it. That it's going to happen. There's no question about it. Thank you again for the 1,000 biddies. Very generous. I got to keep track of the poll, too. So we're at that. So now, okay, good. Okay. So what was the point I was trying to make? Anyway, oh yeah, that's all I was saying. So I just think like the film was just pushing, and I think the books as well, was pushing like a really unhealthy relationship on people. Thank you, Sarah. Welcome to the stream. I think a lot of guys are dragged by the girlfriend. No question about that. Yes, I think they were indeed. Thank you again for the 100 biddies. Honestly, this was the point I was trying to make. It reminded me of and maybe not to such an extreme degree, but you could see similarities of the Joker Harley Quinn relationship. How some people, not all people, but some people idolized that relationship and viewed it in a positive way, and I was like, that's unhealthy. That's not a good thing to put out there. You know, it's like the Joker Harley relationship was always supposed. I mean, as I've always read it as a fan of the animated series, because that's where it started. It's like it's supposed to be unhealthy. Joker is abusive, and it's obvious. But Harley, she has fucking Stockholm syndrome, along with many other mental ailments. She doesn't even know. You know, this is kind of like she's just kind of gone along with the abuse and just accepted that, hey, this is the way it is, and I love him. That kind of thing. But some people are like, no, it's a perfect relationship. So it's very weird. So in a way, it's like the Edward and Bella relationship is kind of a lesser version of the Joker Harley relationship to a certain degree. At least that's how I personally view it. Andy, good to see you. I'm doing very well tonight, man. As best as I fucking can be. I'm talking about Twilight. Doing a scene by scene breakdown of Twilight tonight. Just giving my overview of the film. My general thoughts on it, chat. And yeah, it's a bad movie. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Honestly, I was thinking, like, watch. Yeah, this is some old bullshit. Like all again, bad acting, terrible dialogue, edited poorly. Terrible direction, but there's a big, but as I kind of put up right now with the relationship stuff, there's a reason why it's even less than a some old bullshit on the DT scale, and we'll get into that later. I'll explain further on. But guys, as I said before, we're just going to go over a brief stuff of the film, kind of the background for it. The film had it had a pretty expensive budget, about $37 million. I'm kind of surprised by it. It looks cheap as shit. But it was a huge commercial success. $393.6 million. The franchise is a $1 billion fucking franchise. Done! With another $15 donation because of that generosity. We gotta do another poll. But after the review. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. That was very, very kind of you. So the movie, again, a huge commercial success. Spawned many, 4 sequels, I think? Because they split the last book. That's at the time when they were splitting the last book into, like, 2 movies. Even though I don't think it was needed. And, you know, it's a billion-plus franchise. No question about it. Dark said, thank you for the 5 biddies. Just to clarify, there's no true werewolves in the series. What the fuck is Jacob, though? What is Jacob and his people? They're werewolves. Or they call them skinwalkers or something. I know that in Native American cultures, they call werewolves skinwalkers. I'm going to call them werewolves for the sake of convenience. They're turning to wolves. I know they don't turn to wolves in this chat. Jacob's in it for about 5 minutes. And, like, Bella's got the hots for him in New Moon, which is the sequel chap. But we're only going to bring up Jacob a couple times because he's barely in the film. So anyway, huge commercial success, critical bomb, nominated for a bunch of, awards for its terribleness, chap. But still, spawned a lot. Basically, it started the careers of Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I can totally understand like why they would pick this movie in particular, because hey, it's like their managers, their agents told them like, hey, this will get you fucking out there. You're gonna earn a lot of money. You're gonna get a long running contract. You're gonna be working. So I could see why they would pick this again. But like they're both good actors. They're just given shit material. You can be the most talented actor in the world, chat, but you have shit direction and you're reading from a shit script. You're going to give a bad performance. Doesn't matter how talented you are. And that's the case here. Because we've seen Kristen Stewart be good in movies. We've seen Robert Pattinson be amazing in films. Particularly just in the last couple of years. In The Lighthouse. One of my favorite films of last year. So, in any case, chat. But the film opens up in the happiest way possible. With Bella Swan, our principal character, chat, thinking about the ways in which she'll die. What's the best way that I could possibly die? I ponder this as she narrates to herself throughout the film. We're going to come back to that, chat. She doesn't know what's the best way to die, chat. But we'll find out. So Bella Swan, she's living in Phoenix, Arizona. She loves it out there. It's hot. She describes it as hot. She likes the desert, chat, and she likes cacti. She's always carrying around a little cacti for the first 10 minutes of the film. It's like her fucking pet. It's her only friend, chat. She's living with her mom, in New Mexico, chat, or fucking not New Mexico, fucking Arizona. I already forgot where the hell we were. In Arizona. And her stepdad, chat, he's a minor league baseball player. He's constantly moving around the country, playing other minor league games. And Bella's mom's like, listen, I'm tired of staying at home and taking care of your mopey ass. I'm going to join my sexy ass minor league baseball husband on the road, and you can go ahead and go to Forks, Washington. Are we going to Washington, chat? Yeah, I think it's in Washington. You can go to Forks, Washington with your sad dad, okay? And I'm gonna get my goddamn fuck on, all right? I still have some golden years left. I'm gonna go do that. Be mopey over there. And so they fucking ship Bella Swan off to Forks, Washington, chat, where she meets her dad. And my God, this man, he's sad. He is such a sad character. It's like every attempt that he tries to connect with his daughter fucking flounders. And it's her goddamn fault, chat. 'Cause the first scene that we find her in is in the goddamn car. They're driving up there to Forks, Washington, chat, fucking rain. It's overcast. It's cloudy. Just miserable. Like, I would love to, like, I've been to Washington, Oregon. You're beautiful states, but Jesus, this movie does not make these states look good. Especially when everyone else, every other person that's living in these goddamn states is either mopey, a mythical creature, or is a fucking moron, okay? But you're following these two characters in the car, chat, and every attempt that he tries to have a conversation, like saying nice things, you know, and I know she's a fucking teenager, but still, she's like, oh, your hair looks really nice, and it looks longer. And she goes, oh, I actually had a cut recently. And he's like, fuck, what do you want from me? Listen, I tried to give you a compliment. And there's this thing, chat. And I realized this movie borrows, and you're going to be mad at me, but let me explain. It borrows a lot from anime. Because they do they do that thing, which you never really hear in movies. Like, you've heard it recently in the Final Fantasy VII Remake, where we have those characters, like, they have nothing to say, but they're, like, nervous. You hear, that is the most repeated piece of dialogue in this film. Bella constantly does it, and fucking Edward constantly does it. Like, no one else does the movie except those two, okay? And I think that's why they just have that instant goddamn connection, because they're like, oh, you're like anime characters. It's like that Japanese high school shit, chat. It's like one of those Japanese, like, romantic games when you're trying to get with the Japanese high school student, everyone's fucking shy, and they do that pause. It's the same exact thing. Black Citizen, welcome to the stream. Appreciate your patronage, my friend. How you doing today? Welcome to the Revenites. Yes, it's the grunt thing. It's the grunt thing. Allie's correct. Larry Miguel, welcome. It's the grunt thing, okay? And it is there, and I was like, wow, they are constantly fucking doing it. And I only noticed that because I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake so often, chat. It's like, that's the same thing. And I realized that you can never do that in a live action thing. Like, it works for that animation or in video games, chat, but that does not apply to live action because the characters, they just seem, listen, chat, she just seems like she's not all there. Like, she's incredibly socially awkward. It's like, you actually need some help, okay? You shouldn't be hanging out with mythological creatures and sad dad in Forks, Washington, okay? You need some serious help. But anyway, chat. So they go to his sad house, chat. And she, he carries up her stuff to her room, which he's put together for her. And he's like, okay, yeah, there you go. And then she's like, thanks. And she wants nothing to do with him. He's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go downstairs and drink beer, chat. He either is just looking sad, he's either drinking beer, or he's cleaning out his goddamn shotgun, chat. Sad dad's doing one of those three things. Maybe even two of those three things at the same time. It's crazy. And so, she goes up there. Dad's enrolled her in high school for, I guess, the next couple months. His mom's getting her fuck on with minor league baseball dad. And she's coming downstairs. It's like the next day, chat. She's going to go attend high school. And who do we have rolling up? Like, and I don't mean this, I'm rolling up. I shouldn't have said that. But who do we have rolling up? We have Jacob and his dad, who so happens to be in a wheelchair. Sorry. That came out wrong. He was literally rolling up, chat. Anyway. And they have a gift for Bella Swan, chat. They got her a fucking rust bucket with wheels on it. And she's jazzed. Like, this is the first time where she's seen. Hello, no, because that's what it is. I was like, so I got a question. It's like, what? I mean, he's obviously a werewolf too, but does his legs still work? Is he dragging himself behind? I'm sorry. Is he dragging the? Never mind. I want to go into it anyway. So they got a present for her. It's a big old rust bucket with wheels, chat. And this is the first time where she's actually shown any emotion in the movie. Like, she's really excited about it. Sad dad. He's very happy to see Jacob's dad, and they're bonding over being dads, chat. Jacob, he's showing Bella the car. They have like a little bit of an awkward conversation, like this here, right here, chat. This is Taylor Lautner. Excuse me, fish fry. Excuse me, I burped. Not yet. Maybe it is fish fry yet. No, later on. Later on, we get to fish fry, chat. It's over a key scene. But you know, Jake. What the guy's Taylor Lautner. He's barely in the film for me to say that he's actually bad in this, chat. He has so little dialogue that it's like I can't really judge his performance. It's not until New Moon where he's like, oh wow, you're terrible. You are absolutely a terrible actor. But here it's like you're fine. He's fine, chat. He just doesn't get anything to do. He talks to Bella. She's asking him, oh, are you gonna, I can take you to school now if you want. She actually offers him a ride. He's like, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. I actually go to school on the reservation. Lives on a Native American reservation, chat. She goes, okay, well, thank you for the car. I really appreciate that. Maybe we'll hang out later. Maybe I'll get to know you. No, she doesn't fucking do any of that, chat, because she's a selfish person. She just takes the car and does not hang out with Jacob whatsoever. Like, I would have actually, it's like, wow, you actually did this for me. This is so kind of you. I want to get to know you. Introduce me to your family. But no, she's like, hey, thanks for the car, and like barely ever interacts with him after that. Terrible, chat. Terrible. And so Jacob, he takes he rolls out with his dad. And what if they have another car? They drove in that car, chat. It's like, is he gonna wheel his dad back to the reservation? I don't know. Maybe if they turn the wheels, they can get there faster. It doesn't matter, chat. And so she goes to school, and she parks this car, chat. Everyone's laughing at her rust bucket, chat, and she's so awkward. She doesn't know how to feel. And she's going to class, and then we get the introduction. There's so many characters in these scenes, these upcoming scenes, chat. I don't know their names. We get the nerdy guy from the school newspaper, and he is suddenly just smitten with Bella. He just wants to know everything about her, where she's from. I mean, he is laying it on goddamn thick, Chase. Like, I'm gonna put you on the front page of the newspaper. You're gonna be my news story. And she's like, the anime thing, chat. Again, she's like, no, why? He's like, that's stupid, right? And then at one point, the more characters introduced. What's her name? Who's the girl? Oh god damn it, the brunette. Oh shit, chat. You know what I'm talking about. Anna Kendrick. She's in this. Anna Kendrick, she plays one of Bella's kind of friends in this movie. And eventually Bella meets like multiple characters. Oh yeah, Bella, she's in the gymnasium, chat. She's in gym, and she is awkward as fuck. She's trying to play actually, I'm not even attempting to play volleyball, chat. She's just like standing there, and when the ball comes at her, she's like, and the girl's like, come fuck, what's wrong with you? Again, there's something like, I don't know. She needs help, chat. And every time the ball comes, she's like, And at one point, she did hit the ball, and she hits this one guy in the back of the head. And he's like, what's up? What's that? And she runs over. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Hits in the back of the head. And fucking, again, smitten. What is it about Bella Swan that guys are just like, foremost target identified? Let me put all the babies into you right now. It doesn't make any sense. And he's like, hey, how you doing? Where you from? Oh, you know what? It'd be really hot if you go to prom with me. It's like, this is a lot at once. And she's like, but fucking Anna Kendrick, who's in this movie for about 15 minutes. She comes to the rescue, and she goes, stop it, blonde hair boy. Bella, ignore him. He's just a horn dog. And then eventually, chat, we go to lunch, and the horn dog is there. The nerdy newspaper guy's there. A whole bunch of other guys are there, chat. And everyone's sitting around Bella. Everyone's asking her questions, and she could not give a shit less about any of them. She gives half answers. She does. It's just that anime gasp, like stutter trail off. That is her dialogue. That's the thing. Like, I understand why some people think Kristen Stewart is a bad actress, because they literally gave her so little dialogue to actually say. All of her lines just trail off. That was the direction, and that was on the page. Like, she's a good actress. The same with Robert Pattinson. He has some fucking zingers in this movie, and they're all terrible. But again, it's because of what's written on the page. It's not his fault. And eventually, I mean, Anna Kendrick, she's giving her the ins and outs of the school itself, Chad, explain everything. But then off in the distance, Chad, because everything just fucking shuts down when the most prettiest people, the palest, most prettiest people you see, they start coming to lunchroom, and Bella's like, who the hell are they? And Anna's like, oh, those are the Cullens. And she explains their history. Yeah, apparently they're like all adopted by Dr. Cullen and his wife, Mrs. Dr. Cullen. And I don't know her name, Chad, it is Dr. Cullen. And but the weird thing is that even though they're all adopted, they're also dating each other, so it's kind of incestuous, but not. So it's awkward, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of weird. And you get introduced to, there's again, I don't know their names, I just don't. You got the fucking big one, you got the big muscular one, he's hanging out with the blonde one, chat, who's kind of mean. You have the kind of the pixie dream girl one, she's hanging out with Sokka from the last Airbender, chat, and he's just like, I want to eat all the children in here. You shouldn't have brought me here. I will tear them apart. And then the last one who comes in, chat, is Edward Cullen. And Bella's like, I want some of that. And he's just staring at her the entire time, chat. Like, not in like it's like a cute way. No, it's like just dead stare, not breaking eye contact, just super awkward and weird. So again, not a great way to start a relationship, chat. And, you know, they just have a connection automatically. And then we find Bella. She's going to one of her next classes, chat. She's going to a science class, biology. She's going to learn about the human body, chat, and how it works and creatures and shit. The teacher, he's giving her all the materials, and there's like a fan right next to her, chat, and this fan just blows on her. And this is one of the most unintentionally funny moments in the movie, because she has to go sit next to Edward Cullen, he's her partner, and we go to Edward Cullen's perspective. Actually, after the fan blows on Bella, he goes, oh! It's like, did she just like fucking fart, or did she have like major BO? It's like, or something. But his reaction does not make any sense, because they explain in the movie that the set drives him crazy or whatever. Like that's why he becomes obsessed with her. But his reaction tells the opposite, where he's like, I can't control myself. I just feel the need to feed on you, like shit like that. But his reaction is like, oh my god, what the fuck, girl? What'd you do? Dark Star thing with the 5 minutes. So Bella, she's just sitting there going, just farting it up. Like barely no one can smell it except Edward. Everyone's just like, oh, we can't say anything. She's like super socially awkward. She'd be embarrassed. But Edward didn't get the fucking memo. And he's like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? It's so funny when they're both sitting there. She's just like, she's kind of like smelling herself and smelling her hair. Like, is it me? Am I doing something? He's like, ah. And at the point he's like, I can't fucking take it anymore. I can't fucking take it. And he just fucking leaves, chat. He leaves the goddamn room. And then he goes to the principal's office, and he's talking to a guidance counselor. He's like, can you just put me in another class sometime during this semester? Please, for the love of God. This girl, she will not stop farting. I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna vomit. Like, we can't do anything about it. We gotta sit next to the fart girl. And she's like, fuck. And then who comes in behind him, Chad? Fucking Bella. And she lets one out. Like, and he's like, ah! And he just leaves. He runs out. Bella's like, what did I do? What did I do? Then eventually, chat, you know, I think it's the next day or something. Is it the next day? I guess, yeah, it's the next day. And, you know, she notices that the Cullens at the lunchroom, they're not, they're, like, Edward's not there. Like, they're all sitting there, but Edward's not there. And, you know, Anna Kendrick's like, oh, yeah. Sometimes they can be like gone for weeks or something. Apparently, sometimes the parents like to spend time with each individual kid, and they do whatever they're gonna do. But the whole fucking Cullen family's just like dead staring at her too, chat. It's like, what the fuck did you do to Edward? You farted on him again? He was vomiting all goddamn night. Again, gross. And so it happens a lot of internal monologue, and it's like, I waited for him the next day. There was something about him. And then, you know, I don't know, several days later, oh yeah, during all this time, chat, like Bella's being reintroduced to people at the town. So like the waitress, she remembered her when she was like 4 years old. It's like, I remember you loved to eat the peach cobbler and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, I did. And then like a really weird scene when this guy, Protector King, thank you for the 16 biddies. If someone could edit facts, I would buy that. If someone could edit the farts in, I would buy that. Yes. funny enough, in the Master Pancake Theater, like, mock version of this, they actually did that. It was perfect. Because it's like, his reactions, like, that's what he's actually smelling. Not like, oh, her musk, her natural scent. Like, no, she is just fucking passing gas like a motherfucker. And he's like, does anyone else smell this? Please, for the love of God. Anyway, I'm sure there's a version that exists out there. Okay, yeah, so she's being introduced to people in the town. There's also this really awkward scene, at least it came off awkward to me, where it's this much older man, chat, who might have been in his late 40s or early 50s, was really excited to reintroduce himself to Belle. He's like, oh yeah, you sat in my lap. I played Santa Claus that year when you were 4. It's like, why are you, like, adamant about saying this to her? Do you remember that scene? Very awkward and fucking weird. Not appropriate. But he'll get his, chat. He'll get his for his pedophilic tendencies. And then, chat, we cut to a scene of a security guard being fucking ripped apart by vampires, but it's not cool. It's just him running down a goddamn hallway, and then we see from above this grate of these guys, they're just wrestling with him, and we just assume he got ripped apart, chat. And then sad dad, he's fucking sad because he's got to follow up on this case. The security guard, hey, wild animal got him. And he's dead. I gotta go tell his family. They send me because I'm the sad dad. And Bella's like, that sucks, Dad. He's like, yes, it does. Yes, it does. And then meanwhile, Bella goes back to school. Edward, he's back. He's back, chat. And he's back in science class. And Bella, she sits next to him. And they try to initiate a conversation. And it just falls flat on his face. This is not a conversation, because they're just doing science, and he's just asking her stupid inane questions because he doesn't know what to say. But it just, even those inane questions just don't come out naturally. He's like, how do you like the weather here? Do you like the rain? She goes, she doesn't even know how to answer. All he hears questions. He questions her intelligence about the science project that they're working on, and then she questions his intelligence about the science project that they're working on. So it's very awkward. Eventually, they go out in the hallway, and they're starting to talk to each other. Coco Chop staying with the 5 biddies. Risky YouTube search showed someone has made the edit of Belle fart. Yes! I figured it worked! Perfect! And so they're walking the hallway, chat, and then she, like, again, stupid inane conversation, and then she just realized, like, hey, your eyes are, like, really yellow, like golden yellow. Before they were kind of like brownish, chat, and he's like, oh, it's the fluorescent lights. And he just immediately walks off. He just, like, he doesn't even finish his sentence, chat. He just turns around and just walks off, and she's like, what the fuck? He's more awkward than me. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Bat Shields, welcome to streaming. Thank you for the 15 biddies. Excuse me, I mentioned this earlier. Work he's about. No problem, Bat Shields. Thank you for your generosity. Appreciate it. Anyway, but again, fucking bizarre. Like, there is no natural conversations in this movie, chat. Everything just feels, it feels very stagey in the worst way, but like, honestly, like a high school play, where these people are not engaging in an actual conversation. They're saying things at each other, or just trailing off in an attempt to say things at each other. That was like, okay, that was fucking weird. And then, what happens next? Oh yeah, so now, are we at this point yet? No, yeah, okay, I think we're here. Okay, so now Bella, she goes outside, chat. She's gonna leave for the day, and you know, she's just writing in her book or something or whatever in her journal, writing all her thoughts down, and she notices that there's and then, like, Edward, he's like far away, just fucking staring at her creepily, chat. She's like, okay, he's just gonna keep staring. I'm gonna give him something to look at, you know. And she mopey writing in her little book. And then we get this big old fucking minivan coming in, chat, and someone was pulling out. He turns left when he should have just kept going straight, and he goes fucking dead for Bella, chat. And Bella's like, ah, because she's not gonna move very fast. She's very clumsy, and so she's like, all right, fucking embrace me. Here's my death. And Edward, just like a goddamn superhero, chat, jumps out of nowhere, and he stops that goddamn minivan. Like, he holds it back, and Bella's like, what the fuck? And Edward's like, says nothing. He just gets the fuck out of there. Everyone's crying around Bella. And they're like, whoa, are you okay, Bella? The guy in the car, he's all fucked up. He's bleeding, eye hanging out of his goddamn side. Bella, are you okay? I'm a little derpy now, but are you okay, Bella? That's most important in this film, is if you are okay. She's like, no response. And then eventually, Bella and the derpy-eyed kid, they go to, I guess, the school. No, they go to the hospital. They actually go to the hospital. sad dad, he goes in there, he's like, I'm gonna kill that kid, but Bella, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine, Dad, whatever, just leave me alone. And then who walks in, Chad? Dr. Cullen, this handsome blonde man. This lesser, I'm gonna call him Lesser Dan Stevens, Chad. He's Dr. Lesser Dan Stevens. He walks in and looking weird, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it, sad dad, your daughter, she's fine, maybe just a little psychological trauma, but we're gonna go ahead and she can send her home, just a good night's rest, and she'll be fine. And Dallas is asking, oh, well, is your son okay? And he's like, what about my son? And she's like, well, I mean, he was there. I think he saw it. Maybe we can ask him about it. He's like, nah, it's good. And then he fucking leaves, chat. And then Bella, she follows him. And we see Dr. Les Dan Stevens talking to his wife, Mrs. Dr. Dan Stevens. It's Mrs. Cullen, chat. It's Mrs. Cullen. And they're also talking to Edward. And they're like, what the fuck did you do? You cannot expose us to this shit, okay? You should just let her die. And then they notice that she's watching, like, oh, fuck, shit. And they run off, Chad. And Edward, he approaches her. And he's like, hey, are you okay? She's like, you fucking stopped a car from crushing me. That was amazing. Like, what was that about? He's like, nah, I was, nah, I didn't do that. And then it's like, he's a terrible liar, Chad. Because she's like, you were, like, standing, like, I don't know, like 20 feet away. There's no way you could have gotten to there in time to get me. He's like, nah, I was standing right next to you. First of all, you just lied and said you didn't save her. And then he's saying, like, oh, you know what? Your mind is you're just rattled, Bella. You're just rattled. She's like, no, I don't think so. And he's like, you're not going to drop this, are you? She's like, no, I'm not going to fucking drop it. And he goes, and he goes away, Chet. He leaves. Not really a conversation. He's going, that was fucking awkward. And then next day, Chet, Bella goes to school. And they're on a class field trip. And they're learning about compost, chat. And then Edward, he's just there, and he's just asking Bella's questions immediately, and about her life or some shit. And she's like, okay, I guess we're still doing this. Okay, I thought that kind of ended it where you just kind of wanted to leave me alone. He's like, no, I just feel very protective of you. Again, you should not say this. You barely know her, but fair enough. Okay. And so they engage in conversation, chat, and something awkward and inciting incident happens where Edward's like, you know what? I don't think you should be my friend. I don't think we should see each other ever again. And Bella's like, well, you're the one who's talking to me. And then he does it's a cool move, chat, because he beats on the bus and the door opens. He just walks right in and he says, this bus is occupied. And he just goes in by himself. So Edward's just got a big old fucking bus all to himself, chat. Bella's like, that was weird. And then immediately after, chat, we see Bella in the lunchroom with her friends. And they're all, the nerdy kid, this blonde nerdy kid, he asked her to prom, chat. She's like, no, I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be going to Jacksonville with my mom that day. I'll be predisposed. And Edward is just staring at her, chat. And that's what he asked her at the compost field trip. He's like, so what's in Jacksonville? Like, really creepily. And she's like, how did you hear? You were like 20 feet away. He's like, I'm always listening, Bella. It's like, no, that's not good. And then, chat, when Bella, she's making like a little salad for herself, a little veggie salad, she drops an apple, chat, and the apple falls, and then Edward uses his foot to like, not kick it, chat, but it kind of like, it just skims off of his foot all the way up his leg, and he catches it in both hands, like a weird juggle. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But he's like, here you go. And she's like, thanks. And then he just starts talking to her. And it's like, wait a minute. And even Bella brings up the fact, you just said, oh, the Budacast, thank you for the $10 donation. Thank you. Well, let me go ahead and read this. I just want you to know I didn't vote for this movie. I'm so sorry you had to watch this crap. Hey, Budacast is fine. Thank you for your generosity. It's no problem at all. He uses the Force. That's the only thing I could think of. Protector King, thank you for the 12 biddies. Wait, is this why Mr. Gray is a big... Yeah, exactly. He's Edward Cohen. And so I think that the author, was it E.L. Jane, whatever the fuck the author's name, she repurposed the worst aspects of Edward, all the kinky weird shit, and that was the dominant personality of Mr. Gray, whatever the fuck his name is. And so that's what she took him. And then Edward, again, like, literally... The field trip was an hour ago, and he's already engaged in another conversation. Bella brings up the fact, you just told me, like, an hour ago, you didn't want to be my friend, you didn't want to talk to me. He's like, I just find you so interesting. It's like, again, very fucking weird and bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. And Bella's like, I don't know how to feel about this. At least Bella's fight or flight instincts are kicking in. She's like, I'm just gonna go eat with my friends. He's like, okay. Very weird. And then chat that night, I think Anna Kendrick and her friend, they remember what happens here? Oh yeah, no. Okay, yeah, and they invite her to go out for prom dress stuff. They want to buy a prom dress. They want Bella to come with them because Bella, she's always the fucking life of the party. And it'll be great to have her there. And she's like, hey, it sounds, sure, I'll do that. And then night chat, Bella, she's in bed, creepiest scene in the fucking movie. One of the many creepy, no, not yet, there's more creepy scenes. Bella's just sleeping in bed. And she's like, she's kind of stirs and she wakes up and fucking Edward is just there in the fucking corner staring at her. And she goes, oh! And then she's like, but it was a fucking dream. And she wakes up again and he's gone. He's gone, chat. And she opens up her diary. She goes, that was the first night I dreamed of Edward Cullen. And the weirdest, so she's into some kinky shit, okay? So I can kind of see why she'd be attracted to all this weird shit. This is clearly her fetish, chat. This is her kink. And she just writes it, and then the next day she goes prom dress shopping with Anna Kendrick and this other girl. And she is, I'm like, listen, chat, like, okay. You don't want to go prom dress shopping, that's fine. But at least be engaged. Like, they invited you, you said yes, be a little engaged. She could not give a shit less about them. She's just like, just thinking of Edward and looking out the window, not like, be a good friend to these people. They invite you out to have fun, to go shopping, and she's not doing shit yet. She's being incredibly rude and disrespectful to them. And then she fucking wanders off later on. She's like, I'm gonna go get some food. She gets some food, chat. But it's fucking dark and shit. And she's wandering down an alleyway, and these two guys are coming up on her, and they look the frat guys, chat. That's what they literally are in the credits. They are frat guys, and they're like, "Hey, hot stuff, how you doing?" And she fucking turns around, chat. And then what does she see in front of herself? Two more frat guys. It's four frat guys now, and they just want some of that Bella, but she's not gonna give it to them. And she's like, "Fucking leave me alone." And they're gonna do something bad to her, and then all of the fucking sudden, out of the goddamn darkness, the fucking Mini Cooper comes out, chat. Oh, what fucking car? It's a goddamn Mini Cooper. Mini Cooper comes out of the dark like the goddamn Batmobile, and who pops up? It's Edward Cullen, and he's like, get in the car, and she's like, fuck, okay. She gets in the car, and they drive off, chat. Like Edward's just staring at these guys, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's really intense. And then he's just driving back to fucking Forks, chat, and she's like, how did you know I was here? He's like, I've been following. And she's like, that's really weird and awkward. He's like, well, I want to keep my distance. You know, I just feel very protective of you. Again, not appropriate. Mr. Lowry, thank you so much for the subscription. We got to do a cartoon movie review, Paul. We got to do that today, too. Wow, 18 months in a row, man. A 17-month streak. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. So, you know, again, he's just been following her. And she's just, well, I'm in the car now, so I don't want to set him off. He could fucking try to rape me at this moment like the frat guy. So I'm just going to let's just see what happens. And maybe I'll try to escape. But the end, chat, she's into this kind of shit. So she just lets it play out. More awkward dialogue ensues, chat. And Edward's like, I'm going to go ahead and take you home. Let me turn the heat up for you. And she's like, I'll get it. And then when she touches his hand, she's like, fuck, you're like ice cold. What's wrong with you? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little cold today. So he turns the heat up. And he takes her back home, chat. But she notices that there's all these police cars in front of her father's house. Because she says, oh, what is happening in front of my father's house? Like, super awkward and stilted. Like, not a great delivery to, like, can we do it on the take? Chris, can we do it on the take? I'm like, no, we don't, no. No, next. She's like, shit, that's not going to be good for the movie. And then they get out, chat. Oh, God, stop it. You're updated, Windows. They get out, and apparently her father's sad dad's there. Chat, sad dad says, well, there's been another murder. It was the creepy Santa Claus guy that you sat on his lap when you were 4 years old. Apparently, he was ripped apart, chat. He was eaten. And there was a whole sequence where he was on his fucking fishing boat. I don't know, to catch fish or maybe to catch kids. I'm not sure which. And he's attacked by these incredibly beautiful people. Most of them do not have shirts, chat. They wear jackets, but they have no shirts on, so you're seeing all the pecs and the nipples, and those fucking nipples were throbbing, chat. It was cold. It's cold in Forks, Washington, and they eat them. And that we don't see anything, but it's assumed that they ate them. And they're going, yeah, it's like, we got to find this thing. And then Dr. Cullen's there is like, yes, I believe it's this wild animal that's causing these deaths. And, you know, Sad Dad's like, I'm going to fucking kill the animal. And Dr. Cullen's like, yes, you do that, sir. And then Bella, when she sees, oh, Bad Shields, thank you so much for the 5 biddies. Show that taco. And Allie, I just saw you. Thank you for the 100 biddies. This is the book cover, hence the weird apple. So that is part of the thing. So the apple is important. Fair enough. See, I thought it was supposed to be representative of the blood or something. It's like it's the forbidden fruit. It's the forbidden fruit, and Bella's the forbidden fruit that Edward cannot take part in. He cannot have it, even though he desperately wants to. That's how I read it, at least. Anyway, so what happens here? Oh yeah, so Bella, she sees dead Santa Claus, and for whatever reason, that just gets, she's like, that's what kicks in, chat. That's the thing. She thinks back to all the stuff that happened with Edward, why he's so goddamn pale, why he's missing school when it's always sunny out, why, like, he's ice cold, like, his skin is just ice cold, and that's like, something clicks in there when she sees this eviscerated, probably pedophile Santa Claus, chat. She's like, I know what he is. And she goes back home, chat, and she starts pressing buttons on her computer and phone. And she's bringing up all this information on what, chat? Vampires, chat, the vampires. And she's like, and apparently it has all the things she was thinking of, chat. They got super strength. They are cold and clammy. They don't like the sunlight all that much. And they have a need for human blood, chat. They're attracted to beautiful blood. And she's like, that's what he fucking is. He's a vampire. And then the next day, chat, she's at school, and she sees Edward in the parking lot, just, again, creepily staring at her, not appropriate. And she just kind of goes off the opposite direction up into the woods, and Edward follows her. And then she kind of, like, stands in the woods, and Edward comes up, and she's like, all these things with you, the fact that you got goddamn super strength, that you're cold and clammy, that you're obsessed with me. I know what you are. And he's like, shut up. And she's like, vampire. He's like, I am a vampire. It's like, oh, and he just starts fucking jumping around, chat. He's showing off all his powers, and she's like, holy shit, he's actually a vampire. And she's like, this is kind of cool, but scary. And we get one of the most ridiculous things. And he's like, are you not afraid of me? And she's like, no, I'm not afraid, but I'm a monster. She's like, you're not a monster to me. And he's like, I have to show you something. And he puts her on his back, chat, in a piggyback ride. And then we get the one of the many goofy effects in this film of him just doing that fucking Tom Cruise run, except it looks like a fucking cartoon run up this goddamn mountain. It looks goddamn ridiculous. You would expect the Benny Hill theme to play that. Just going up this mountain, chat. And then they get to like the top of the goddamn mountain. I need to show you what I look like in the sunlight. Oh, Dark, the thing is 5 minis. I thought you were describing the average gamer. No. The average gamer has a lot more likability and better social skills than fucking Edward Cullen and Bella Swan. No question about that. And so he's like, I have to show you what I look like. And then he steps into the sunlight, chat. The first time we actually see sunlight at this point in the movie, since we were in Phoenix. And he just fucking rips off his clothes, chat. And he goes in there, and he's all sparkly. And she's like, oh my God. He's like, this is what I am. This is why I can't be there with those people. I'm a monster. She's like, you're beautiful. He's very pretty, chat. And I gotta agree with Bella in this instance. He is very pretty. There's a sparkly vampire. He goes out there, chat. He's like, you think I'm beautiful? You think this is beautiful? And he fucking, like, rips this giant tree stump out of the ground. He throws it. And this is just turning Bella on. Again, chat, this is part of her kink. She does not give a shit about, like, any time when her personal safety is at risk or she's being abused, she gets hot and bothered. This is a thing, I think. And, she's like, okay, let's just fucking do it. Let's just try. Let's see what happens. And then he's hopping around with her on his back, chat. And then they're in the grass, and they're rolling around, and they're talking about each other's feelings and shit. It doesn't matter. Eventually, they go back to school. And then the next day, she rolls up with Edward and his little Mini Cooper, chat. And all the kids around school, they're just staring. they're just staring at Bella and Edward, and they're like, holy fucking shit, she's hanging out with the Cullens. They're usually always out by themselves or kind of fucking each other. This is very weird. Oh, Bad Shields, thank you again for another 25 biddies. Thank you so much, man. When the review is better than the movie, though. Thank you. No, that's very kind of you. I'm skipping a lot of the dialogue. You don't want to hear the goddamn dialogue. You don't want to hear that bullshit. No. No. And so everyone's like, holy shit, she's fucking Edward Cullen. Good for you, Bella. Good for you. Is he really pasty? Is he like clammy and shit like that? Is it like just fucking a salamander? But we don't know that shit. We don't know. I imagine so. And then Anna Kendrick's like, you go, girl. I'm so happy for you. And it's like, hey, Bella, why don't you come out with us to the coast where we're going to be doing some surfing in like 30-degree water? And she's like, that sounds like a blast. Can I bring Edward with me? And they're like, I mean, if you want. I mean, we didn't think Edward would want to come. And then she asked Edward if he wants to come. He's like, I don't really like to hang out with other people. And she's like, oh, okay. And then the next day, Chad, she goes with them. And Edward's not there. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, I mean, he kind of sticks to him, you know, to himself, and the Cullens stick to themselves. They live in that opulent house out in the middle of the woods, so that's just kind of what they do. And Bella's like, oh, that's kind of awkward. And then, Chad, we get the second scene with Jacob, for whatever reason. Jacob's out there, and because he's hanging out with these kids. Because apparently what the section of the coast is actually controlled by the Native American reservation. And I guess they just let these fucking white kids all over their land all the time, Chad, to surf. And then Bella and Jacob, they're just talking for a bit. And I don't know what initiates this conversation, but they get on the subject of I guess, specific fucking vampires, chat. I guess they get on the subject of vampires or whatever the fuck they are. And like, oh, well, you know, my ancestors, they allowed these this specific group of people to be on our land. And if we didn't tell the pale faces, as the white people chat, then everything would be okay. And Bella's like, oh, but that happened a long time ago. And Jacob's like, well, you know, maybe they came back. And it's like, what are you fucking saying? It's like very weird and awkward. Anyway, so the next day, chat, her and Edward, they're going on dates and shit. They're having a good time. Edward, like, he's helping Bella out with her car. He, like, fixes it for her. And he's like, and then upset, she's like, you know, I want to introduce you to my family. I just want you to see them. I want to bring you to my house. And she's like, okay, I mean, isn't it going to be a little weird, though? That, you know, I'm a human and they're like a family of fucking vampires. Is that going to be okay? It's like, yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And we also get the background of Edward, chat, about what his history was. Apparently, funny enough, it's topical, very topical. He's 17 years old. He's been 17 for about, 80 plus years at this point. Yeah, about 80 plus years, chat. Yeah, 80 years. He was a victim of the Spanish flu, funny enough, and his adopted father, Dr. Cullen, basically says, like, hey, you're going to die. I can't do anything to save you, but there is one thing. I'm a fucking vampire. If I bite you, I can save you, but you're going to be a vampire forever. And Edward Cullen's like, let's fucking go, man. And he bit Edward, and Edward's like, I've been like this for 80 plus years. And Bella's like, that's fucking hot. That's pretty cool. And then, chat, Bella, she's like, well, I gotta tell my dad about this whole situation, so why don't you come to the house and I'll introduce you to him. It'll be a good time. Thunderly Graves, thank you so much for the 5 biddies. The whole movie is a weird, it's like scenes happen sporadically. They feel like they're out of sequence, but it's like, there you go. There's the fucking history of the film. Black Sheep, thank you for another, what is that? Another 8 biddies. Thank you so much. And so then Edward, he comes to the house the next day, chat. No, there's a scene before this. So, I think at night, Bella and Edward, they attempt to have sex, and, you know, it gets hot and bothered, but because of Edward's vampire strength, he starts to hurt Bella accidentally, and he throws himself off of her, and he's like, I'm sorry, and then Bella's like, don't worry about it. It's like, no, that's not appropriate. It's like, no. Don't say don't worry about it. If he's actually physically hurting you during sex, that's a little fucked up. So, no. And that's the part of the movie I'm like, you know what? This is all some old bullshit, but this is the part that comes in here, chat, and like how abusive and weird this relationship is. This is where it gets in the fuck you territory, okay? You're putting this out here as a positive, representation of a romantic relationship, of forbidden love, and it's like, no, this isn't appropriate at all. I don't like that. Anyway, and And then she's like, but I don't want you to leave. No, don't stay. Stay with me. It's okay that you hurt me. Stay with me. It's like, fuck. And he fucking stays chatting. They're like cuddling in bed and things. And he just wants to get out of chat, but he can't. He can't. He's going to deny himself that. And then during the night, he reveals, she's like, oh, the Bella tells him, you know, it's like even before we got to this point, I was always dreaming of you. Like I always see you in my room. And I always write about you in my journal. Edward goes, oh yeah, no, I've been watching you sleep. And it's like, what? Oh yeah, I've been showing up here, and I've just been watching you sleep. And Bella, her reaction is like, oh, it's so sweet. It's like, are you fucking serious? That's so sweet. Oh, okay, all right, that's great. So he's been coming to the house chat and just creeping. Just fucking creeping in here, and she likes it. Again, you know, kinky as hell, this Bella Swan. And then that whole, you know, sheepish, awkward, you know, mopey teen. Now, underneath that chat, God, he's a goddamn stalker show, no question. It calms me. Is that what he said? She said it or he said it? Could be either one at that point. Oh, okay. So the next day, you know, I don't think Dad knows about this, about the stuff that, no, because that's what happens. Then we have the scene afterwards. So Nan Bella's like, this is some manipulative shit that she does to her dad, chat. Now she's going to introduce Edward to her dad, to Sad Dad, even though Edward's already been in the house chat when they attempted to have sex, and it's been revealed he's been fucking stalking the goddamn property watching Bella. Sure. And I love it too, because Sad Dad, he's just fucking drinking beers, chat, and he's just working on his shotgun, chat. He's rubbing that thing down, he's cocking and loading it. And Bella's like, I don't want you to scare Edward. He's like, I'm not gonna scare him. I'm not gonna scare him. It's gonna be fine. And so she brings Edward in. Very brief, awkward conversation. He's like, you take good care of her, you hear? And he's like, yes, I will. So we're just going to go my place. We're going to go to my place and with my family. We're going to play some baseball. And he's like, baseball? You're going to have Bella play baseball? He's like, all right, fuck it. If she gets out of the house, I'm okay with it. And so Bella and Edward, they drive up to the house chat. Meanwhile, the Cohen family, despite being a family of vampires, they don't eat anything. Edgy Berserker, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Team Mustachio Dad. He's the best character in the film, chat. He is the audience avatar. He's the one that's like, I'm just sad to be here, and I have to work with all these terrible people. He's the most natural character in the film, and he has no chemistry with Kristen Stewart either. He's like, you're not giving me anything. You're not giving her anything. What do you want us to do? All of our sentences end in just, they just trail off like we're goddamn anime characters. What do you want me to do? We never know, chat. We never know. He's just always sad and drinking and working on his guns. And solving murders he'll never solve. And so the Cullen family, they're preparing a meal for Bella because they don't eat. They only drink blood. They're actually, Edward describes his family. This is when they're in the woods and shit. When he's like, you know, hold on to me, Spider Monkey, and all that bullshit. Not yet. Spider Monkey scene's coming up in a second. But when he's like showing all his powers and how pretty he is and stuff, this sparkly skin. The Cullen family, they don't drink human blood. Chat. Edward describes his family as vegetarians. They only drink animal blood. So they hunt and shit, so they can, you know, they have their predatory instincts, but they hunt like deer, which I appreciate. That's what this movie opens up, chat. I forgot to tell you. Fucking deer gets his in the opening film, just torn apart by, I assume, Edward? Maybe? I don't know. They gets eaten, but they're like, hey, we wanted, Edward really likes this girl. He hasn't been over girls since 1917. Ha! So we want to make this a special day for both Edward and Bella. We're going to make her some authentic Italian cuisine, some authentic pasta. So it looks delicious, Chad. They're watching. It's kind of sweet. They're watching the video. They're the whole family doing this, chopping up a bunch of bacon, getting the big old noodles in there, you know, sauteing the spinach and all that shit, getting the sauce ready. And then Bella, she comes in with Edward. They live in a fucking beautiful house, chat. No question about it. Like all that money, which I'm like, how did they get all this money? Like, I know that, you know, Dr. Cullen, he's a doctor, so he's getting paid pretty well, no doubt about it. But I would imagine he's been alive for hundreds upon hundreds of years, probably killed a few people. There's no, they reference that Dr. Cullen definitely killed some people over his time. And I think he's like 500 years old. He's multiple centuries old, chat. So he's taken a fortune or two from maybe other vampires or other humans. But they live in an opulent place. You know, Edward's like, oh, this is Bella, everybody. And they're like, we must eat her, like, right now. But they hold back, Chet. They hold back. And it's like, oh, Bella, it's so nice to meet you. We're not used to cooking, like, at all. Protector King, thank you so much for the 9 biddies. Alice sees the future. Yeah, she does. She's the manic pixie dream girl who's dating Sokka in the last Airbender, Chat. We'll get to her in a second. So they're preparing a meal for her, and they're like, oh, we never use the kitchen, like, ever. It's actually the first time we're actually cooking in, like, centuries. But we want to do something special for you as we're making pasta. And Bella's like, oh, she shouldn't have said anything, Chad. She should have said, oh, I will, you know, like, oh, that's so kind. But she said, oh, I already ate. It's like, just fucking eat the goddamn food they prepared for you. Like, oh. And then one of the girls there, Chad, who's like, I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. She's like, has a bowl of salad. She just fucking crushes that shit. This whole bowl. And everyone's like, oh, fuck. She's like the blonde-haired one. And she's like, why are we making this food for this goddamn Hume? It's like, do we just want to be nice? Want to make this nice for Edward? And then some of the other family members introduce themselves. Chat, the manic pixie dream girl, Alice. She's the one that sees the future and shit. She's there. She comes late. She has an important role in the movie later on. And I guess the series overall. It doesn't matter. Also, apparently vampires, they can read the minds of people. There's a whole scene in the film where Edward takes Bella out for dinner. And he's like, you know, I can read everyone's mind, which is, I don't know, it was a power that vampires had, but okay. Like, everyone's mind. And he says, thinking about sex, thinking about money, thinking about sex, thinking about money, thinking about his cat. Like, then they got this big schlubby guy, and they break the fucking fourth wall in this scene, chat, because the schlubby guy is like, he's like, I do think about my cat. Just, like, looks directly in the camera and just like, It's like, what? Very bizarre. Anyway. We're back at the house, and everyone's like, okay, so let's go outside and play some b-ball, play that good old stick ball. And then we get a horribly choreographed action scene. I don't know how to describe it, chat. They're going outside playing baseball. It is not filmed well. It is edited the shit. The things seem to be out of order. The wire work in here is awful, chat. There's certain points where you can tell that the actors are jumping on things. You can actually hear... I forget, it's the thick vampire, Edward's older brother. He's the big muscly one. You can hear actual trampoline he's jumping on, chat. Like, it felt like there was springs being pressed when he jumps up in the goddamn air. Emmett, thank you, Allie. And it's awkward and doesn't work. And, you know, they're using Bella. She's the umpire and she's calling it and shit. Of course, she's doing it in Edward's favor. And people are like, God damn it. I was clearly safe. Everyone's getting mad. At one point, chat, someone hits a ball. I think Sokka from the last room, he hits a ball. It's a home run. Everyone's like, woo, go Sokka. But then everyone's going, what's that? And then out from the mist, chat. Out from the mist, we see these 3 hot vampires. The one that's been eating all the people. And one ate the pedophile Santa Claus shit. Ate that security guard too. And they're just walking out here. And again, looks incredibly awkward. Because they're moving regularly, but they're moving faster. It's like they're walking like you would walk. It's like they're walking on those, what is it? Not the escalators at the airport, but you know those, like, treadmill-esque things at an airport? You know what I'm talking about? Where you can go on them, you move fast. They're walking on that, and it's like, that doesn't look right. I guess it's to show that, like, oh, they're otherworldly. And then it's just the fucking, it's the people movies. It's the people movies, exactly. Fucking pretty. And then it's a fucking vampire stand. Everyone's going, like all that shit. Everyone's getting into it. And it's like, and they're like, oh, and they go, and everyone kind of like calms down a little bit. And like, Bella, you stand in the back because they're going to sniff you. You got them fear farts, Bella. They're going to smell you real easy. She's like, I know. Dr. Cohn, he walks up. He's talking to the one guy. Basically, these are the vampires from the Anne Rice novel, chat. That's who they are. You got your Lestat. You got your pretty boy Brad. I don't know. James is the white guy. Lestat is the black guy. And then you have the other one who's the psychotic kind of... Kristen Dunst got older. You got the Kristen Dunst one. I'm not going to tell you their names. Brad Pitt, Black Lestat, and Kristen Dunst if she was older, Chad. That's their names now. And Black Lestat, he's just like, oh, you know, we didn't know this territory was claimed. We apologize. You know, we'll go on our way. And Dr. Cohen's like, hey, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. But he's like, you know what? Black Lestat's like, hey, I see. It's Darwin from X-Men. His name is now Darwin, Chad. He's Darwin from X-Men First Class, who should not have died in that way in the film. He was actually really charming in that movie. So Darwin from first class, he goes, you know what? Hey, saw you guys playing basketball. Saw you guys playing baseball. You mind if we play a game with you? And Dr. Cullen's like, well, yeah, sure. We just have some people that are just about to leave. Edward, get Bella the fuck out of here, chat. And so you're like, okay, they're about to leave. But of course, Bella has a fear fart, chat, and goddamn Brad Pitt smells that shit. He's like, you brought a snack. And then, and everyone's like, and they're like trying to hold back everybody, chat. Trying to hold back Brad Pitt and Darwin and Kristen Dunst and fucking Dr. Cullen's like, Edward, you get her the fuck out of here. We gotta hold him off. And Edward, he grabs Bella and he puts her in the car and they're driving off. And Bella's like, what the fuck is happening right here? And he goes, that was fucking Brad Pitt. He is a tracker. We learned about the different types of vampires, chat. And it's like, those are like regular vampires. And Brad Pitt, he's a tracker. And so he smelled you and he's never gonna stop. He finds this entire thing enticing for the first time. Like, he's given a lot of backstory to this guy who we just met. He's saying, like, for the first time in centuries, you're like the ultimate thing that he wants more than anything he's ever wanted his entire life. And he's going to keep coming for him. Bella, we got to, like, get you out of here. We got to get you out of the state. You got to change your name, Bella. She's like, what's happening? I got to go home. I got to talk to my dad. She's like, fuck your dad. Fuck sad dad. He's going to be sad no matter what. We got to get you out of here. She's like, okay, well, let me go home and let me try to explain something to my dad. Let me come up with an excuse to my dad. And so Bella's excuse to her dad is just to make him even more sad, chat, because she goes back home, she bursts into the front door, and sad dad's like, was your date okay, honey? And she's like, no, it wasn't okay. I want to go back home. I want to go back home to mom. And he's like, what, with your school, and you're here now, your mom's fucking the minor league baseball player. I don't have anything else. And she's going back and forth, and like she's going back and forth, putting stuff into her bag, chat. And dad's like, what do you want from me? I mean, Bella, don't leave. You can't leave here. And Bella, she just fucking this is the kicker, chat. She's like, I'm gonna go, Dad. Okay, I'm gonna if I don't leave here, I'm gonna be stuck here for the rest of my life, just like Mom told you. And then she leaves, and Dad's just like, it's terrible. Why would you say that to sad dad? He's so sad. And then all the memories, like, I'm gonna go drink some fucking beers and just go polish my shotgun. He's gonna use that himself, chat. I would've been shocked if he did it. And then Bella, she goes in the car with Edward, and she goes, I feel really bad about what I just said. I just said the same thing that Mom said to him when he found out that she was fucking that minor league baseball player. So yeah, that's probably not going to be good for his ego. So when this is all over, I got to talk to him again. Definitely got to talk to him again. Poor sad dad. And so Edward, he takes Bella back to the opulent mansion of the Cullens. And the whole family's like, okay, we got to help Bella. We're going to try to throw off the scent of Brad Pitt. We're going to get him off your trail. You take Bella's fart jacket, her fear fart jacket, blonde girl. You put that on there and you rub on trees and shit. And we'll take Bella to Arizona, I guess, or New Mexico. No, it's Arizona. They go back to Arizona. And so, Chad, everyone's fucking driving at one point. Edward, Edward is with some of the other members of the family. And they're trying to leave an alternate scent for Brad Pitt. While the rest of the family, fucking Manic Pixie Dream Girl and Sucka from last summer, they take her back to Arizona, Chad. Eventually, Bella, they get her in a hotel, and we were introduced to Manic Pixie Dreams Girl's powers, where she can see the future, I guess. I guess vampires have different sets of powers, chat. And she just starts sketching out a room that is filled with all sorts of mirrors. And it's like, this is where we're going to be, apparently. This is gonna come. Or it might not, because then she also says, yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it does. You can't have it fucking both ways, okay? It's like either it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. It's like, I don't know. It's like, fucking Christ. All right, anyway. And then, Chad, we cut back to Edward and his family, and they're rubbing up on trees and shit, all of the Bella Fear Fart clothes and everything. And then Brad Pitt, he's tracking them, chat, but he's like, you know what? Nah, this isn't natural. This isn't natural whatsoever. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. And then fucking Edward calls and he goes like, I don't think it worked. I think he was on to us. Maybe he smelled us too. So just be careful. And Bella's like, he might be going after my dad. It's like, don't worry. We're gonna head back to your dad's house and make sure that he's safe. And then chat, when she notices, oh, her mom's calling her. And so she answers the phone, and the mom's like, Bella, are you okay? And Bella's like, Mom, I'm fine. Sorry that, yeah, I know Dad must be panicking right now, but I'm okay. Just know I'm okay. I'm gonna be back at Fork soon. And then but then Mom's not talking anymore. And who is it? It's fucking Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt goes, oh, Mom's a little predisposed right now, a little indisposed, and Witness me! The chat attack, Nick Diaz. Thank you so much for the raid, my friend. Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Evan 7. I'm a variety streamer currently reviewing Twilight, doing a scene by scene breakdown. Twilight again, guys. Nick Diaz, one of the backbones of the DT community. Thank you so much, man. Here's to you, my friend. Don't bring Bad. I'm bringing him in this, man. He's like a lesser Brad Pitt. And so he's saying, Mom is a little indisposed right now, but I think you should come see me if you want to make sure that she's going to be okay. And then we see that he's in her house in Arizona, and he's looking at shit, and he's like, you know what? And she's like, where do you want to meet up? He's like, come to the ballet studio where you practice your ballet. And then Bella gets all these flashes and shit. And she's like, oh, that's the room that the manic pixie dream girl drew. And she's like, oh, shit, it's true. She can see into the future. My God. And so, also, I forgot, Chad, there's a scene, like, during all of the courtship of Bella and Edward. There's a scene when he's just playing the fucking piano. And she's just, like, listening to him like this. And it's like, it's not important anymore, Chad, but again, just shows just how cringy a lot of the romantic aspects of this film actually are. That happens early in the film. This scene just reminded me of it, I guess. And so Bella, she goes to the ballet studio, which you would think, like, why would Bella go to the ballet studio? She always says in the films, like, I don't know how to dance. I got 2 fucking left feet. Like, seriously, I got derpy feet. But she goes to the ballet studio, and then she just hears her mom crying out. She goes, Mom, are you okay? She opens the door, chat, but it's a fucking video. It's a video of her mom training in her young Bella in ballet. And Bella, even back when she was like 7 years old, she was mopey. She's like, I suck at dancing, Mom. I want to go home. It's like, God damn it. Almost he's consistent character. And fucking Brad Pitt walks up behind her. He's like, oh, yeah, I lied. And then he just starts to throw her around the goddamn room, chat. Just literally playing with his food. He fucking breaks her leg, chat. Like, snaps that shit. She's like, ah! She's screaming. Breaks her arm, chat. And then he just goes, ah! And he just starts munching on her arm, chat. Just munch. But then, right before he can go for the jugular, chat, after he's done munching on the forearm, who busts in there, chat, like goddamn Batman? Edward Cullen. And then Edward Cullen and Brad Pitt, and they're just hissing at each other, and they just start fucking brawling. They start fighting, chat. And like Edward, Brad Pitt, he's like, I've been around longer, Edward. Don't worry about it. I see that, you're the fastest of them. But are you the strongest? Are you the strongest of the Cullens? Edward's like, the fuck yeah, I am. And they just start wrestling, chat. They start throwing each other around the room, and it looks like shit. A lot of bad wire work, poorly lit, poorly edited. You can actually see, like, the wires, like, they're bouncing with the wires and how it's lifting up their clothes. So awkward. Eventually, Edward, he gets the fucking upper hand, and he, like, rips, I think he bites off Brad Pitt's ear in this scene, I think. So he bites that shit off before he can just start munching. Fucking Dr. Cullen, the rest of the Cullens, they get in their chat. They stop Edward, and like, you're done. Don't worry about this. Dude, you don't kill him. Don't kill him. We'll take care of him. We'll take care of Brad Pitt. And he's like, okay. And so Edward, he goes to Bella. Bella's just like, I hurt everywhere. My leg is bent in all sorts of directions, and my hand is on fire because the venom, the vampire venom, chat, is spraying in her system. And Dr. Cullen's like, okay, Edward, you can do one of two things right now. You can either let her turn, wouldn't be too bad, right? Or you can literally just suck the venom out of her. But there's a worry, because Edward, he's so attracted to Bella and her blood, he might not be able to stop himself. And he's like, you gotta make a choice. And then all in the background, chat, while this is happening, so Edward, he's sucking on that arm. In the background, fucking manic pixie dream girl jumps on Brad Pitt and just proceeds to gnaw on his face and rip his head off. And it's like, Jesus. And then the other two brothers, Sucka and the big one, Emmett, they proceed to rip his limbs off, Chad, because they say on the film, we gotta tear him apart and burn the body. And that's what they did. She gnaws on his face, rips his head off, they rip his limbs off, and they burn the body while Edward slowly sucks the blood and poison out of Bella's arm. All in the same scene. A lot of stuff's happened here. He manages to do it, but Dr. Cullen's like, Edward, okay, that's enough. You're gonna fucking drain her, and she fucking passes out, yeah. She passes out, and she comes to in a hospital, and her mom is there, and mom's like, oh, Bella, oh, I'm so glad you're okay. And Bella's like, what the fuck happened? And she sees Edward, he's just there sleeping, but he doesn't sleep, Chad. He never sleeps because he's a vampire. And so she knows he's awake, and she's like, oh, well, after what happened at your dad's house, Edward told me everything. He told me everything. Apparently, Edward and his dad, Dr. Cullen, they got a call from you, and they say that you checked into a motel, and this is fucking dumb as shit, chat. And they said you opened the door, and you... I don't know how it happens. It was like somehow you trip down 2 flights of stairs, and they show like a flashback sequence that does not happen of her just bum 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 bum, like going down these steps, and that's like, oh, that's how she broke her leg. But no, it's not over yet. And then you fell out a window. And then they do a thing where she falls out a window, like fucking head first, glass crashing in her body, and bah, hitting the concrete. And they're like, yeah, you almost bled out, but you're okay now. Your leg's like really fucked up. But yeah, I'm not joking, chat. Watch the movie. At least watch that scene. 2 flights of stairs and out a goddamn window, out of like a 2-story window. It's like, what the fuck, girl? I know she's klutzy, but goddamn, protect her, king. I think he's under the 10 biddies. Anyway, so she falls out, and all this is like really terribly edited and shit. And mom's like, I'm gonna go check on your dad. He's downstairs. You know, he's very, very sad. And so obviously, so she goes check on him. Everybody's like, how you doing? And Bella's like, okay, what the fuck happened? What happened to Brad Pitt? He's like, fucking dead. We ripped his head off and burned his body. She's like, whoa. Well, I'm glad he's gone. She's like, yeah, I just want to protect you, Bella. That's what I'm here for. And they start smooching, chat. It's very romantic. And then later we cut to the future, and it's prom, chat. And Edward, he's knocking on the door, and who's there to answer the goddamn door, chat? Sad Dad. Apparently, Bella reconciled her father. We never see the apology, chat. We never see the apology, but Sad Dad is still very sad. Sad Dad's like, fuck, all right, come inside. Fine. And then, chat, we hear the footfalls before we see her like, bum-bum, bum-bum. Bum, because Bella's got this ridiculously huge cast on, and she's like moving like goddamn Igor from Frankenstein, and she's just stumbling down the stairs, and everyone's like, oh, you're so hot. And she's like, really? She's like, yeah. And he's taking her to prom, Chad. They go to prom, and they drive there, and I guess Edward's like getting her some punch or something. I don't remember. But then from the fucking darkness, chat, from out of the goddamn woods, Jacob's there. He's like, and she's like, oh, Jacob, how you doing? He's like, hey, well, I'm just here because my dad paid me. Very awkward the way he says this. My dad paid me $20 to come and say this to you. And she's like, okay, you can come out of the woods and shit. And he's like, all right, thanks. He sits down next to her, and he's like, okay, so my dad wanted me to tell this to you. Don't see Edward Cullen anymore, okay? Just kick him to the curb. And then Edward shows up, and he's like, what the fuck are you looking at? And they go, man, but we don't know that Jacob's a werewolf yet, Chet. We don't know that. And then Jacob, he disappears back in the woods, and then Edward and Bella, they're awkwardly dancing in the gazebo, chat, and they just fucking start smooching, chat. They start smooching. It's a good time. And then we get the credits, and there's end credit stinger with evil Kristen Dunst, and she wants to seek revenga against the people who killed Brad Pitt, which happens to be the Cullen family and Bella, chat. And that is Twilight. That is the Twilight film. It is terrible. Like, listen, at the end of the day, chat, like, when it comes to the dialogue, the acting, the editing, directing, it's all somewhat bullshit. There's no question about that. But the thing that is my sticking point, like why this would get a fuck you on the double toasted scale, is because of the fact that it is putting out what it views as a positive romantic relationship and like riding with that. It's like, it is absolutely not true. That is a very negative message you're putting out there to impressionable young people about what is a healthy and positive romantic relationship. And so that is why, chat, based on the shit that happens in this film, all the creepy, weird, depraved shit. So that's why this gets a fuck you, chat. I don't blame Kristen Stewart. I don't blame Robert Pattinson. I don't blame any of the actors in this film, okay? I blame the writer. I specifically blame the writer and the director for bringing the material, and then the fucking studio that did this. That's who I blame. Rocker Birdie, thank you for the 100 biddies. That's what I would do. Is the end credits scene stuff from Radiohead? Yeah, but there's like an end credits stand with, what's her name? Kristen Dunst. Exactly, Chris. It's directing material. That's why it gets a fuck you. That's why, chat. So hopefully you enjoyed the review. It was a long one, chat, but I knew it would be. I wanted to get to all the specific stuff, things that bothered me the most. Hopefully you liked it. I'm going to go ahead and take a momentary break, chat. Please entertain yourselves amongst yourselves. I got to go ahead and blow my schnoz. I got some allergies. Then we'll come back and we'll do the review for Spider-Man, the animated series, episode 4. What's it called? Dr. Octopus, Armed and Dangerous. Should be a good time. Stick around.